Oh, you guys have a child?
Yeah, we have a daughter. I mean, it's my daughter, but it's our daughter.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How old is she?
10.
Wonderful. Wow.
She's 10.
She's half baked.
Yeah, girl. She is.
8 more years.
She's baked.
I love her. Do you see how comfortable she got last night talking about, I used to have a crush on Aiden, and then he went to another school. I'm like,
I was like, right. Now you're talking
okay.
about crushes with us? Oh, my God.
That's good.
It is
She
good.
feels safe.
Safe and
That's
comfortable
like, you know, you're going to have a
close.
crush on a lot of people, right? Like, this is not
Don't worry
the end
about
all
this.
be all,
It's,
yeah.
it's not the first or the last, baby.
La like this.
You even know how to start it, do you?
I don't. I was going to say the same thing I say on my other show, but I know
Look
that's
at
not
you. You
right.
didn't even know what to do.
Just shut up. I'm going to start.
Okay, good.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Love Like This podcast. This is your host that you've been missing. It's Milah, and we are here. I'm here with my lovely fiance, Orlando, who's been gracing your screens many weeks without me. And today is a very special day because not only are we here together, but we are here with a special guest. Someone I've been wanting to meet for a very long time.
Yeah.
Author, entrepreneur, mother, reality TV star, wife, Kenya Stevens.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. I love little unmarried couples who's about to be married. Come on, we're going to chop it up.
Not unmarried couples are about to be married. Well, that's us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm off to a strong start, though. I'm going to get this marriage thing right. Like, look at the ring. I even got the ring right.
You
so
got
I
the
know.
ring. Oh, my God. He got the ring right.
Yeah, he did.
How did you
Trust
do
me,
it?
please. That's a queen right there. So I was like, I want to get her a crown.
No,
So
that
and-
is beautiful.
And then on
you.
the inside, I have our what do you call the thing?
Our,
Astrology signs engraved on the inside.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it
You
has
did
a
a
little
good
bit of both.
job. Where are you from? You got a brother?
I got-
we're going to be a big family.
I'm just a Jamaican man. So,
Okay,
you know,
Jamaica.
yeah, Jamaican men are really good at like holding down the family.
Yes.
We just tend to have multiple families, but if you get a Jamaican man that can only solely be for you, you've won.
You
wow.
might be the connector piece. You might
I'm
need
the
to
bridge.
change the generational
Yeah,
curse, the
he's
cycle.
the bridge from the old way.
Old ways to the
right.
new ways,
Because that
yeah.
way wasn't right. Somebody
Right.
gonna get killed in that
Right.
way.
Right, because my Jamaican grandfather certainly had more than one family.
Right.
So it's a thing.
Most of our Jamaican grandfathers have more than one family.
Why do they do that?
You know, we can handle it.
Right, but the women don't seem to handle it very well.
That's why the women are crazy.
No, well, it's hard to say. The women are crazy. The women are aggressive, but they seem to be able to handle it. Like,
Okay.
You know what?
we're very
okay.
tribal. We're a very tribal, communal type
This
of culture.
could get us way off topic.
Yeah.
couldn't
I
it?
know,
All
but
right.
I do think this is an important topic. Like, something just came to me when you said that, because I feel like it's not just Jamaicans. It's like, it's a cultural thing, right? Like, black people, white people, everybody the men be fucking around and having separate families,
Yep.
and then saying the women can handle it. She's
Right.
fine. She'll
Right.
be okay.
Right.
And innately, the women somehow do fucking just go along with it, knowing that Shamika's up the street with 2 other kids.
Right.
The kids don't know and shit. And I just
But the Jamaican women are very hardened by it. They be, they're aggressive with their kids. They're sometimes aggressive with other people. Maybe not with him.
but with everybody else, and so essentially you become like a
And I
callus
don't
of a
think
person.
they're getting enough orgasms, really. The
Oh, in
Jamaican
Jamaica?
women.
Oh no, they're getting enough orgasms. Sex is
not
definitely
for one
part of-
man who's half home.
Well, all right, so
Ain't no way.
here's the other
Ain't
thing.
no way.
And I don't mean they can handle it in a sense of like, oh, they'll be fine. I mean in the sense of like they are willing to like take in this whole big family structure, like, and then sometimes the women would have multiple men too. So
Oh, good.
It's
Yeah.
not one sided, and the women would be like, oh, you have kids, that's my kids. We're all gonna eat together. It's very tribal, very communal.
nice.
So
But I just think about black women who have like gotten this bad rap of being attitudey or being mean or being hard with their children. I even think about my own mother, who was kind of, and she's from Philly, but like who was kind of growing up. I was like, what the fuck is your problem?
Right.
Because
They're taking out all of that aggression from having to just hold space
Yeah.
for those men to do that and still be with them.
and
It's
so
a lot.
yeah,
it's
it is a lot.
I feel like this is a correlation between how we show up and what we inherit, and then black men being like, well, I want to date Barbara because she's soft and nice and I can cry around Barbara. Like, nigga, that's because you didn't give fucking me all the shit and now Barbara, you know what I mean?
Right. Barbara happy-go-lucky because she's been having orgasms and not ashamed to have sex and not ashamed to say, you only gonna be with me.
Exactly.
That's also the reason why the women sometimes like kind of deal with it, because the sex from a Jamaican man is...
I can vouch for that.
No, I've tested now. Hold on. I've tested it, and they are strong in terms of virile, but I think they need work in terms of their tantric ability.
Definitely.
Like
definitely.
the emotional connection part.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
Luckily, this Jamaican is
he's in touch with his emotions.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I was raised with by a woman who took the more negative end of like the Jamaican man having multiple families. So growing up and seeing that, I was just like, I don't want this. This is not even appealing at all. Why does anybody do this?
Wow.
So that's why I was like, I'm gonna be the one to change the generational curse and cycle. And I was the first boy also, so I was like, I need to like really set the example.
Good. Yeah, that's called growth and development, spiritual growth and development. That's all we're really asking.
Right.
It could all be so simple.
So tell us about you. Tell us how you arrived in this place where you're changing and shifting generational cycles for the better and making men, just grow and develop. How did this come for you?
Milah has been internet stalking you. Like she's really
Tell me what you found. Did you find any dirt on me?
I was like, look at her.
She's got husbands, and I was like, that's all you saw.
We should be like her.
We should be like her, huh?
Look at this.
Well, I do have husbands, but that took a lot of years. I think people see the end result, and they don't know what it took after 30 years of marriage.
Which is what I'm curious about. Yeah. So like, how was it like even when you were younger, like growing up? Was this even like a thought process or a thing?
It was not, but I felt as if, watching a big family, if you're from Philly, we used to have the big family reunions.
Right.
Watching those dissipate because of cheating. Like, you really have to look at what happened to the family and what was it. I don't know about Jamaica, but here in the U.S., a lot of couples broke up because of infidelity. Yeah. And a lot of couples were dealing with money stuff. But if you don't have the right money and the man is cheating, it's like a double whammy. And just a lot of things that happened in America involved, my family broke up around cheating. People just not being able to sustain their family unit. And I'm watching that as a little girl, like, okay, they're all going to church, they all praying, they all doing this, but this is happening. Still. In the name of Jesus, this was happening. I'm so sorry to say that. I am.
Yeah.
But and it made me pull away from the church. So that was step one. Step two, it made me examine, what is it about sex and sensuality? And it's easy. The women were not going to sit there and not be able to have what the men could have.
Yeah.
I saw that. My mom was on my dad like a hawk.
Baby, my mom too.
A hawk.
My mom 3.
And because you know why? Because she knew she couldn't do it in no universe could she do that. Yeah. In no universe. Could she go and take some time off and just get some nice dick and hang out and, just not be home and not be doing this, not be doing that?
Of course you're fucking infuriated.
You are like, you can't handle that. So that was the reason for the divorces. And I studied that. I mean, it led to so many fights and then just the tension in the marriages. Yeah. Dozens of marriages made up our community. So after watching that, I just knew that I had to do something different. So before I got married when I was 21.
Oh, wow.
I was at Howard University. My husband was getting his MBA. Okay. And I was an undergrad. And, Howard, we uppity. Yeah. So, when I got with him, I was like, this is my man. Like, I knew it was my husband from the first date.
Wow.
8 weeks after we met, we were engaged.
At 21?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't make them like that no more, baby.
Well, I knew what I wanted when I went to Howard. I was like, I'm going to marry a Howardite. But in doing so, we did have these types of discussions. And I was like, well, we have to do something different.
And he was open to that?
Yeah, because his father cheated, left when he was 6. My father, he wasn't a cheater. But at 8, by the time I was 18, 19, he was, dipping, doing a little skinny dipping. Right. And my mother really almost killed him. So that was the biggest part of my change.
Right.
I had to talk her off that ledge.
I don't want nobody dying. I don't want to lose both my parents over this.
I've seen my mom beat my dad's ass. Like, my dad was the one who, like, he would go to work and be like, oh, something hit me, like, scratches on his face and shit. Like, that was the norm in my household.
And, you know, I always tell these stories because people think they're the only damn one. Yeah. And we're living in a dysfunctional culture. The culture is dysfunctional, not the people. Mm-hmm. So there's no shame around what you've been through because this is learned and this is cycling through our communities like a wildfire.
Yeah.
Y'all saw that California wildfire. That's been our community.
We were here.
Everything's a fire. It's a fire.
It's a fire. And nobody wants to acknowledge it.
No, everyone's like, just keep cooking. Okay. Everything's fine.
Like, it's not okay. It's not.
It's not. And I've been having these like one-on-one discussions with men and realizing that the men that came before us and the teaching that they gave us was very toxic, and we had to be the ones to like really realize like this. Not only is it toxic, this shit don't make no goddamn sense.
Right,
it's not helpful for anybody. It's not even helpful for us.
No.
So it's like it makes no sense to be the ones to like to continue this when we've been so aware and realizing like we need to stop this.
And at that point, when you wake up, what do? What's your first step? Like, do you read?
That has been the struggle because there's this like you're building a whole new foundation off of nothing.
Well, but only so many men will wake up and say that because it's almost like I always say this. It's almost like racism, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a white man having to admit he's privileged.
Right.
It's like, I don't really want to fuck up my privilege though. I'm winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like for a man to be like, this shit's not really fair. This don't really make sense.
Right.
You would have to acknowledge that you're winning on terms that are just not equal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always say that. I'm like, of course men are going to keep fucking hollering and screaming like, I'm the man, so this is how I'm built. You know, because it's not beneficial.
But also men admitting to having a dysfunctional upbringing.
Yeah.
No man want to talk about their mama. Mm-hmm. No man want to really talk about their dad because if dad was there.
Yeah.
So these are touchy subjects that bring us to a state of vulnerability that you were not afraid of. So I'm glad to be in this room, and you're lucky to have somebody who's not afraid of vulnerability.
Yeah. I realized that a long time ago that fear was a catalyst for like a lot of things, and then once I like disconnected myself from like being a person that's living in fear, I was able to like open myself up to a lot more challenges and a lot more like just conversations and a whole different mindset, because now I'm not scared of whatever may come from this.
Right. Yeah. But people who don't admit that they're afraid become even more afraid.
Yep.
Because now they're afraid for somebody to know they're afraid.
Right.
And so that's a double
fear.
They're
putting on.
Right.
Yeah. I've heard men say, I'm scared I might like it. And I'm like, that don't even make no fucking sense. You're scared to be happy and like in like with yourself. It's just madness.
And that it may go away.
Yeah.
If you accept it, like the goodness of life, it may vanish.
Or if I give you the same privileges in which I'm granting myself, that you will have the opportunity to like something as much as I do. I had a guy who I was dating who was like Muslim, and he was like a whore too, you know, and he would just say such hypocritical things.
Wait a minute, a Muslim hoe?
They're everywhere, right?
Child,
they're running
females too.
It was this particular man, and he was very sexual, but he was also very like strict, so it was very confusing. And I had told him about this experience I had with like my friend and her boyfriend, and it was like I was really excited about it, and he was like he fucking cursed me out so bad. It was like, oh. And then later on, we were like having sex, and he was like, can I tell you a secret? And I was like, what? He's like, that shit kind of turned me on. And I'm like, I'm confused.
Wow.
And like, you just call me a bitch and a slut.
Right.
But then on the same token, like, it's like a something that, like they desire it, but they're also afraid of it. And it's like, they want to be able to indulge in their own shit. For instance, on Temptation Island. Yeah. But I'm just saying, but they can't handle it.
Well, it's
know?
pretense, and it goes back to the racism thing. Like, do you like black people or do you not like us? Like, you want to like sort of indulge, wear the clothes, say the language, wear the hair, get the tan, but you don't like that.
But you're not going to marry me?
That's the same thing with men and this concept of a slut or a hoe or whore, which really in ancient Egypt, the word hur, can you roll your R's? Hur. It means pleasure.
Oh.
It means the peace of pleasure, the peace that comes of pleasure. So that's not even a negative term.
Right. Call me, I'm a whore, baby.
I'm a whore. No, you gotta roll the tongue if I'm a whore. I'm
No, not a whore.
from Orlando.
That's Orlando.
Orlando.
Woo, that's good.
Yeah, that's been my name growing up, Orlando.
Are you serious?
Yeah, everybody called me a whore. I love women.
But they were sacred. So these
Yeah.
women that I'm talking about, hurras, would be the ones who would heal men after sort of battles, all types of things that they would go through. You can't just come home from war and go back to your family.
No.
You have to go through the
Process.
and go and get healed by sensuality. So
By
you can be
softness.
like a human again.
Oh, you just put us on to something. I like that.
makes
and
sense.
I'm a big history person too, so I'm
look
about to go
this
look
up.
into it. Yeah. The history of whores.
I think it's just it's impressive that you at 21 with your husband, because of your upbringing, had this idea to like shift things, because I think a lot of people require to have evidence. You know what I mean? Like even at 16, like I got picked up by this grown man, and he was so sexy, and like later I found out he was a porn star, and he was like, I was like, do you have a girlfriend? And he was like, I have a lot of girlfriends. Do you want to be one? And at that age I was like,
How old was he?
he was like 30. I was lying and shit. I was being a little slap, but I was being
Correction.
I was being a young whore. But
Spreading pleasure.
that was my first time seeing a man say, "Oh yeah, baby, I got a lot of girlfriends, and you can be one." And I remember that moment so distinctly, because I was like, "Oh, that exists."
Yes.
I had to hear it and see it and feel it.
But wait a minute now. Don't forget that when we were back in kindergarten, first grade, if me and you was cool, that was our boyfriend. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was our man.
right.
That was our man. And it wasn't a discussion.
Right? It's just like, you liking me too.
Right. Like,
Good.
yeah, we both like him. Like when you were telling people we both like him. And she like him and I like him and we both like him. You know, it was like we like everybody in different.
Communal.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do remember that, and now I'm thinking about like what was the turning point, and growing up and seeing my mom so jealous constantly of my dad made it sit within myself like, oh, I shouldn't like that. I shouldn't like that. All right, when somebody does that, that means that there's something bad is going to happen.
Yes.
And now I feel like inherently I have like these feelings and reactions when I have to combat them to be like, there's nothing wrong or happening right here. Like Mila likes to be naked all the time, so she likes to walk around with like her shirt off.
Nice.
And so in the beginning, I was like, here she go. Well, in the beginning, I was like, it's fine, but then it's like, damn, every time. And then now it doesn't even dawn on me that it's happening.
You thought that every time you had those thoughts?
In the beginning, I was like, oh, it's fine. She's
You
naked.
thought
I
what
like
exactly?
that she's about to have her titties out and like around people again.
Oh,
yeah. So,
okay.
but it was like I want her. It was more of a
Yeah, he had.
I want her to be herself than like, oh yeah, I'm cool with this. But it's like I'm more cool with you just being yourself. And then after a while, I realized
so
like
sweet.
this doesn't mean a connection to she's leaving me or she's going to cheat on me or she's alluring somebody to come take her from me. It just means that this is her comfort.
Right. Well, my husband didn't start out like that, so you're lucky. When I was 21 and he was 24, we were not talking about polyamory. We never heard that word. We were talking about polygyny, and I was telling him, like, look, I know that, because we're very Afrocentric, too.
Yeah.
Like, we was African Bambaataa,
Yeah.
like Tribe Called Quest,
Right.
like,
For the people.
Yeah, like unks and this and
Yeah,
it's the 90s. So my husband, I told him, like, are you one of those guys who believes in polygyny?
What's polygyny?
Polygyny is one man having multiple wives.
Okay.
And they're all monogamous to him.
Okay.
But they all know about each other. They not, on
no
the other
secret.
side of
Right,
town.
right.
Yeah.
So, yes, he was a proponent of polygyny.
Okay.
So I knew that before I got married.
And you introduced that to him,
No, we were both Afrocentric
looking
Yeah,
for
it's already-
seeking a different dynamic.
We were both seeking a different dynamic.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't seeking that, but I didn't want to have no games. Like, I want to know if that's you.
Right.
Before I get married.
Right.
And so he had owned that. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
beautiful.
he
And
did.
and at any point did you experience jealousy? Was that difficult for you? Because I
Well,
feel
he
like
never did it. Now, hold on.
Okay.
We were married in a monogamous marriage. However, we were initiated as a priest and priestess in the African traditions in the U.S. So there's a lot of African traditions in the U.S. There's Yoruba.
Yeah.
But we were initiated in the Egyptian or Kemetic tradition. So in those types of circles, the men are doing this.
Okay.
They've been doing it since the 60s and, wherever, however back. So he was exposed to that, but our counselors told us that you need at least 10 years with him first.
The counselors of that tradition.
Okay, right. They counseled us. We had marriage counselors from day one because we were in spiritual culture.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just think of the Hebrew Israelites. Think of all those groups. They definitely have infrastructures. Because we had a strong one for the first 10 years. And they said, oh, no, he won't be allowed to start seeking another wife for 10 years.
Until you start.
So look at my watch. I was like this.
Not on my.
Let me set my damn time. Because I never felt super comfortable with that.
Well, I don't know what kind of bitch I am, but just innately, I'm just like, maybe because I saw my mom act fucking nuts and jealous and crazy for years and years and years. I was like, A, I don't ever want to be like that, so I'm not pressed to be married. And B, like, it never seemed fair to me. Like, go ahead, you can have another wife, but I'm going to have another nigga.
Oh, you always felt that?
I always felt that way. I never, I always felt like if this was something that you're going to do, I also will indulge, or else it just won't be, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so I did not feel that way. But I will say, I will take some ownership and credit, because once we got to the 10-year mark, and at year 11, he came home and said, hey, I met somebody at work. I'm thinking about, you know.
Not year 11, like, here's the alarm
alarm went off. He was like, hey,
let's
start
searching.
talking about this. And I said, oh, you did? I said, oh, let me meet her. And so, yeah, we went to meet her, all of that. And I realized she was from Africa, and she was very naive. Like, she didn't know what tofu was. Oh my gosh, what is that? Or like, she didn't know like certain things, but
really
he
green.
felt like big man with her.
Yeah. Like, oh, let me teach you, baby.
Yeah,
I can put you on.
and I could see that. Like, I would love to teach a younger man some things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I could understand how you want a different energy, right? So as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, so am I going to be able to do this too? No.
Did you take that to the elders? Because I want to know what they said when you introduced.
Well, by that time, we had come out of that tradition. We were no longer a part of a counseling circle and all of that. We had moved to, like, we got uppity.
Right.
We moved to a nice big house in the suburbs. Bought up Sequoia. Like, my husband's super corporate. Like, you know, we were like, we're like, you know, we're still.
We put in our African time.
Well, you know how you were vegan
Peace
for so
brothers.
long.
Right.
You were vegan for like 10 years. That's just like
and then you go to the steakhouse.
It's an initiation.
Yeah.
But, and so we finished. We really did complete it, and we were on our own. So I was just trying to see if I was going to be involved in that. Now, we had 3 kids.
Yeah.
One of them was still nursing. 3 home births.
By the time you were 31?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
I
impressive.
was done having kids by the time I was 30.
Wow. And you had home births, and that's wow.
That's
I
a
was
strong Howard woman right
That's
there.
a strong Howard woman.
Yeah. All of the
She knew what
things.
she wanted way before. That sounds like a Howard girl.
HBCUs
Yeah,
now.
right.
Never was I going to go to a doctor. Never was a doctor going to cut my child penis.
And were your parents with the shits? They were with the church, or were they thinking you're
They were with the church, but they knew that I had left. My dad was a Black Panther.
Okay.
So he wasn't going to church. So I would stay home with him. My church was Stevie Wonder and listening to jazz and talking about, you know, he told me all about all the revolutions and everything.
Having conversations.
I had a different type of church
Right.
that led me into this home birth idea, openness to polygyny, openness to African traditions.
Okay, beautiful. So all right, let's get this rundown.
Yeah.
Married at 21.
Yes.
Polygyny. 10 years in, you have 3 kids. Now, 1 year in, he meets somebody new. And now, how do we go from meeting a new person to you can't have anybody else to now we got husbands?
Well, fortunately, in that spiritual tradition, my husband and I created what we call a battery.
Okay.
So in our relationship, he says what we want, and I say how it's going to happen. That's a balance of power, like the legislator, judicial, and executive.
Wow. Me and Milah have something similar to that, but
Do you?
It's for decorating the house.
I was like, do we?
She gets to choose what's put in the house, and I get to choose where it goes.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
I have like
That's nice.
construction type of background with my dad and like the job that I've done, so I have a very good eye of like where things can go and put like nailing it, screwing it, wherever it needs to be done. So that's how like we come together with. And if you see our house, it looks super custom.
Wow.
Like this
gotta come
everything
over.
is
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
what I'm
beautiful.
thinking.
Sorry, but go ahead, continue.
Well, that's it. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to have, like, I have been stopping divorces for the past 18 years. That's what I do. I'm the world's best love coach.
Nice.
And it's because of these tools that my husband and I developed along the way. If you have a household where the man thinks he's going to say what needs to happen and how it happens, then the woman doesn't have a voice.
And then why would I want to be here?
Why am I here? Right. Just hire someone,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So my husband had the what. His what was, I want to have polygyny. And my how was, you can have polygyny if I can have poly whatever. I want to be open too.
Right.
I want to have other dudes as well.
I want to teach a young man some things.
Right.
Yeah.
So he and I never cheated, but when that what and how came together, he backed up and said, okay, maybe I don't want polygyny.
Oh, and
Look, he
you don't
went,
want equality.
never mind. She's cool, but not that cool.
Yeah, nah,
She
nah,
don't
nah.
know
he
nothing.
let that go. He
Actually,
let
she don't
that
even know
go.
what tofu is. Get out of here.
She not worldly like you, baby.
I mean, he just walked it back.
Yeah.
So 2 years went by. We kept having the conversations. And it came to the point where I went to a conference with one of my girlfriends in Atlanta. And I met a man. And I called and told my husband. And he was like, you know what? Talk to him. Talk to him. Like, I think I'm ready. Because I told him the same thing he came home and told me. I met someone. And this time he was just like, well, talk to him. Just call me later. Like, don't do anything crazy. Just talk to him. And I did. That's how it started.
Nice. You know, I feel like we were having this conversation recently. Good Moms, they did an episode with me and Erica's boyfriend. And we were talking about, you can't say to men, like, we need to talk, right? You kind of got to halfway be there or halfway introduce it or halfway in already. And then say, like, I'm halfway here or halfway into it. Can we go full way? And then that's when a man will go, all right, yeah, we've already we've already started it. The race is already going.
Sure.
All right, since you've already found, if it's before and I have to think about it and have to think about how it's gonna go, it might not work.
Like
but
the
if you're
MMF?
already,
Right,
if you're
I
already
agree with
halfway
him.
there,
It's not as though my husband was ever going to just say yes.
Yes.
You
Like,
had
I
to
think a lot of my
condition it for a minute.
I had to condition it for a minute. A lot of my clients are looking to just tell their husband they want poly, and the husband says yes.
Yes.
That is never going to happen.
Well, they're
Right.
scared, and so they hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, instead of introducing the idea as soon as it comes to their mind. I think a lot of relationships are also not in a place of friendship, so that they are afraid of judgment when you introduce a new idea or something that's non-traditional.
That's right.
Because even with Orlando, we were friends. We've been friends, but I'm like, I really had a fantasy of being with two guys. When I got introduced to it, I was like, originally I was like, it's rapey, I'm a whore, all these things. Until Jesse was like, or like one of my shifted it and was like, no, you'll be worshipped and you'll be loved on and it will be beautiful and they'll be brothers and for your pleasure. And I was like, I never thought that was possible.
Brothers of pleasure.
Yeah.
Brothers and pleasure. And so when I met him, I was like, let me tell you what's on my cup. Let me tell you what's on my list.
Well, actually, even when she told me this, right, she was like, yeah, I have this idea, and I have these other two guys that I'm thinking of doing it with, and I was like, I'm offended that you wouldn't choose me. I'm the perfect fit.
And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to be in my head.
She probably doesn't want to corrupt you.
Yeah, like you're gonna judge me.
like, yeah.
He's already corrupted, but I just I didn't want to be in it and be like, is he judging me? Like, he's gonna love me after
makes
this?
sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because men have such a hard time with this
That's
concept.
why I called my husband, because I was like, is he? I just felt like he was right there watching me like the eyes of God.
Yeah.
Does he know I'm talking to
He
somebody?
knows I'm doing something. I gotta admit it.
Hello? He knows
So
it.
he said go. He said talk to him, and I did, and that ended up being my first external boyfriend. And and his thing was, and our thing in our coaching is that the least comfortable person has to go first. So if your man is pushing it, let your woman go first, and then she's going to be more amenable to you.
Yeah.
But at this point, that's not the first step. If y'all want to know the steps, we can talk about that. But really, that was the turning point, and we started to get more and more open. Now, I didn't have sex, but I was nurturing a relationship.
Did you introduce them early on? Or?
Yes, I did. I invited him over, and why did he bring his fiance?
So did his fiance know what was going on?
Then why did his fiance like my husband? I was like, wait, this not fair. I thought he going first.
Your husband's like, yes.
Yeah. Bring him back over for dinner.
Speaking of which, when we finally had our MMF, one of the things was for me was I don't like going into things half-assed, right? If you're gonna do it, like let's fully do it. But she had to say out loud and admit it that she wanted to do it, and she was like, "Oh well, I'm thinking about," and I was like, "Say it,
Right.
You have to say it,
own it.
You own it."
I was thinking maybe he could come over later after the party, and I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do what?" I was like, "I don't know, like hang out."
I was like, "You ain't ready. Come back and talk to me in 30 minutes when you're ready."
Maybe we could do the thing I was talking about.
That's the space that we're in as women.
Yeah.
We're not in that.
We're not empowered to say the thing because we're always afraid that the love is conditional.
We're
conditional.
getting there, but let me tell you, I push the mark. This is my 2005. I'm sharing with y'all. Yeah. So this energy ball, we have been pushing it. So at that point is when I started a blog. One of those first blogs. Y'all remember Lipstick Alley?
Yeah, of course.
What do we?
I'm sure they talk about us on there somewhere over there. Some,
Are they still a thing?
They still on there, baby.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
And me either.
They picked up these stories like white on rice and started sharing them all around, and we were really ridiculed publicly. Millions of comments about our love style, but we kept going because I knew that it was supporting our marriage. That's the bottom line.
No, it's good. Great support.
In your coaching, are there ever times where people just have to walk, or just some people are so stubborn and so stuck in their ways and just not compatible that they recognize that it's best that they go their separate ways?
I hope that that's not because of polyamory. I mean, I coach people who want to be together forever.
Right.
So people who want to be together forever, when they receive the tools, they're going to be together forever. People who walk are people who did not want that, essentially.
Right.
Because if you want it, you can have it through any challenge.
You wanted ownership and you wanted to have the final say, and that's why it doesn't work.
Right.
Have there ever been periods of time with you and your husband have had periods, long periods of time separate or living separately, or you lived with someone else for a year, or has it always been? Have you?
Well, in year 5, before any of this, my husband was like, "I want my own bedroom."
Okay.
And that broke my heart. I was crying. Honey, what's your bedroom?
Know your worth, King. Know your worth.
I was like, my parents slept together. My grandparents slept together.
What does that
Married
mean?
people sleep together, right? What does this mean? And so, yeah, and he wasn't giving me as much sex as I needed. I thought I got married so I could have sex without a problem.
Right.
It was so many problems from the time you're 12 years old and you get your cycle. It's like, everybody's like, have sex.
Stay
No,
away.
right.
Especially you little fast ass.
Right. So I was having a ton of sex, It's like,
don't do it. Bet.
Got it.
Definitely gonna do it.
Everywhere.
Because they too focused on it for me not to ignore it.
Right.
That was my thing. Also, I was
They
like,
keep telling me not to do it. I gotta suck some dick.
why you keep mentioning this thing that I can't have? Now I want it back. I wasn't even thinking about it now.
So there we are. It's like, okay, I'm in this marriage. I'm hardly having the sex that I want to be having. Like, I want to have sex every day. I want to have sex like eating. You eat every day. You want to have sex every day.
Every day.
You're here. Why would we not be having sex?
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't want that. And I didn't know men didn't want that. See, they still had me under the lie that men have a greater desire. This is a man thing. Sex is totally a woman's thing. We can lay there and have orgasms from now until next week without stopping. True. Without stopping.
You done? Bring in the next one.
Right.
Bring 'em in.
In fact, copulatory sounds are for that purpose. They're calling. Who's the loudest during sex, typically?
Me.
Women. Women are, this is ancient primal copulatory sounds that bring the next level. You're louder and louder as this man is about to have an orgasm. So you're calling the next man. That's what it's for.
Like being in the wild.
I'm sorry to say that.
Someone calling me?
Okay, don't believe Black Girls from Detroit. Read Sex at Dawn by Chris Ryan. Don't believe Black Girls from
Sex
Detroit.
at Dawn.
He's an anthropologist and he studied this.
Yeah.
He's a white man.
That makes sense.
Put you down.
I mean, women are made. Yeah, I always have felt like women are the more sexual being. If you go with a bunch of bitches, we're talking about men and dick.
Mm-hmm.
You go with a bunch of men. If there's no women there, they're talking about sports and dumb shit until they see a bitch walk by, and then they're like, Oh, she's
right.
They almost forget that we've been like men will stay in a bunch of stinky ass room playing video games. And women will be like, "Let's go out and find the niggas."
Right, and our house already got candles.
Yeah,
it's already set up.
We're
got the
primed
bed.
early.
We shaved.
Yeah.
What you talk about? Like,
Come over to a guy's house, it's messy. He's like, I wasn't even thinking about women today.
Right.
Like, really? Because I've been thinking about you all motherfucking day.
Seriously, the hunters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All right, so I'm really enthralled in your life. I'm loving it. So
Guys, we didn't get separate rooms at that point.
Okay.
Because you weren't having it.
I wasn't. I just felt like this was not time. But by the time we got to polyamory, I was like, yes.
No problem.
Now I can see why I need my own room.
How long after the 10-year point after that did you get into polyamory?
At year 12.
Year 12.
Yep.
2 years after?
2 years
okay.
after.
Oh,
Yep.
so 1 year he meets the tofu girl.
Yeah.
Then you meet the guy,
Yes.
and then y'all all four just end up. Everybody likes each other.
Yes, and I was
okay.
so mad when he got with my boyfriend's partner. I mean, fighting mad. Like, I had a complete temper tantrum and a meltdown with all four of us there.
Why?
Like, I cussed all of them
everybody
out.
Why would you bring this whore into my household?
Why? Because I felt like he had sex with her prior to me being with this guy
Oh, they popped
in my bed.
Oh,
And we were in my other, like the guest bedroom.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like prior to polyamory, if you just start doing poly, you're going to really like blow up the whole house. You can't handle the emotion of it.
Mm-hmm. Strong, especially when sex is involved.
It's too strong. It's too primal. So we never advise that I've coached thousands of couples. I've stopped thousands of divorces. We don't tell our couples you're not ready for poly. What we tell our couples is that you're not ready for poly. Mm-hmm. You don't. That's not step one.
You don't go 0 to 100.
It's 0 to 100, and you're not ready. You're going to destroy your marriage.
Right.
Without the proper tools. So now we've built all types of, programs, 4-step, readiness, transition programs, 12-week transitions, 6-month transitions. It takes some couples 2 years to transition fully.
So it's beautiful that you say that, because one of the videos that we were watching, and you were talking about like the tools that you set up and tools that you create so that a marriage can work if it's under a polyamory title. And we were saying that one of the things that we love about doing this podcast is that since it's called Love Like This, it's like designing your own type of custom relationship, not it being like a title based like monogamy, and these are the things that you have to do with monogamy, and that, or polyamory, and these are the things you have to do. Like, no, we have to create something where we can just give people the tools. So I'm so happy that she went to Tantra school and became a sexologist, because that's when I saw like, oh, there are so many different tools that you can use that can uplift and make your marriage or relationship go much longer than if you didn't have it. And the people that really need it is our own people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Do you think they will put down the Bible for a minute to look at some other literature?
I certainly hope so.
I think if they see a good example, and that's why we like to be like the example.
Are we a good example? I mean,
of course.
I mean, honestly, you all can say if it's like no, like
I mean, I've been stalking
I know
online.
I'm a good example.
I mean, at the end of the day,
yeah.
you know what I think it is too? I think we all have been amongst couples that are miserable to be around, and you can fucking see it, smell it, and sense it. And like, I don't want to be around those bitches. They all they do is argue and jab at each other.
Yeah.
But when you're around people who are genuinely in love, there's joy, there's love.
Joy.
It's overfilling. Like me and Orlando, all of our friends hang out with us. They sleep over. We tuck them in. Single friends. You know what I
so
mean?
nice.
Because we're genuinely in love, and I always say like we have a lot of love to give.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Our single friends, I'm like, come over here and get some of this love, because this is going to catapult you into a relationship that is loving.
And then even strangers, I could say honestly, weekly we have somebody that goes, y'all look amazing together, or y'all look like y'all are really in love. And we could be not doing anything at all, and people be like, yo, I can feel like y'all love from over there. Somebody said like our love is just so intense they could feel it across the room. So that's what I mean. If people are seeing a love that's working, examples, and then for them themselves, they can see where like there's hesitation or there's struggle, and they come to us or come to your program or just listen to this podcast, and we go, you customize it.
Right.
You design it however you want, and you use the tools in order to do that. Like, and I realized that is something that helped us, and that's why I'm like, yo, this can really, the tools is what's really helpful.
The tools is what's helpful. Our biggest piece, and for me, and I don't know if this is for all women, but I've heard a lot of women say that men really don't know how to hold space for that emotion. When I told y'all I had a temper tantrum, nobody in that room knew how to hold space.
Yeah. What did they do? Just look at you.
They just either were like bucked up. Or, they were either bucked up or they were sort of like, oh my God, afraid. Yeah. Nobody really honored that. So that was what our first tool is about, up-level communication. Here's the book right here if you want to see it. you can put it right. No, up-level, because my husband wasn't holding space for that. Yeah. Like after that and after they left, he was so embarrassed that he and I got in a fight.
He said, you showed your motherfucking ass today.
And he didn't even say that. He just was raging internally that just bust out on me. He's a Gemini, so he's not going to say
because he seems like real calm until he's not.
Oh, until he's not.
Yeah, that's this one right here.
Child. Oh, you a Gemini?
No, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, same issues. Yeah. But except y'all know y'all right, though.
Yeah.
Gemini's like, I don't care if I'm right. It's like, I'm mad, right? Yeah. He's like, no, I'm right, though. This was wrong.
Even when he's not.
But the point is that I really had to, and then my husband was not supportive of the up level at first, even though he helped me write the book.
Really?
But yeah, because some men feel like they don't want to hold space for feminine emotion. It's too much. It's out of order. Anger is wrong. Sadness is wrong. Complaining is wrong.
It's all weak.
It's all weak?
Weak.
Oh, yeah. Men think of that as weak?
Yeah, that's not necessarily wrong. It's just like these are situations that could put me in a vulnerable position. And seeing as weak and in the men in this world, we need to be strong all the time. So it can come across as like, well, that's how.
But y'all like women, though.
Yeah, we like you to be weak. We don't.
But I'm saying he didn't want me to have those emotions.
Oh, okay.
He didn't want to deal with them.
Yeah, because he would have to deal with them. That's what it is. He would have to deal with those things.
Yes.
It's like, nah, you can, but keep them to yourself.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I have to hold space, now we have to open up and put these emotions, these quote unquote weak or wrong emotions, in a space where I now have to be in that space too and deal with it. If it's in your space, it's
right,
cool.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to get at.
I was really hoping that would be the case, but even if I was there, he wouldn't want to approach, deal with me, deal with any part of it. It's just too much. And so I had to write a system that supports men in learning step by step how to deal with that. And it's a system of safety for men and for women. And with using that, let me turn this off. Using that is the only way that we have been able to be polyamorous and stay together.
And what made him finally just be like, you know what, I need to utilize this book that we because all women are going to be emotional. There's going to be big feelings. So it's either going to be your feelings or somebody else's. So let me just get down and get with it.
And quiet as kept, men have feelings as well. Yeah. Bigger. Even bigger.
Look at this hand right here.
Yeah. So they have to also learn to deal with, because feminine and masculine is not really male and female. Feminine is your subconscious, everything you've been through, your memories, your pains, your hurts. That's where that emotion is coming from. Then masculine is just your conscious mind, like how your habits. I'm driving. I'm not even, it's just masculine and feminine is not male and female. It's right brain, left brain. So you have both brains. Right. So you have to learn both of those modalities and languages.
Right.
So that's what we did with this system, and it really, really helps my male clients, and it helped my husband.
I'm so happy you just said that right now, because I haven't been able to figure out like how to explain the masculine and feminine with saying that it doesn't mean man or woman, but that was a great just like breakdown of that.
Right brain,
really
left brain.
Helpful. Yeah.
And even androgyny is corpus callosum, which connects and makes those two talk. So we're androgynous, we're masculine, and we're feminine.
We have all of the things.
We're all, but see, men like, I don't got no feminine. You don't have a right brain? Like how do you function?
when you deny that part of your brain, it shows.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can tell that you're in battling something that you are.
And the more you deny that part of your brain as a man, the more you're going to attract reflections of people who have that side, but super wild.
Wow.
Because yours is wild as fuck because you haven't even paid any attention to it. What happens when you abuse an animal?
It gets skittish and scared, and it just runs away. Yeah,
or
it gets aggressive.
Super
aggressive.
Yeah. My sister had to put her dog down because it was biting everybody. That's how men's right brain be. That's how their feminine side be, because it's so neglected and so abused.
Well, because we come from a society that tells them that part of their brain is soft or
Absolutely.
or weak or
Absolutely.
meek, and they're not supposed to show up that way. You're not supposed to cry. Man up, you're not supposed to cry.
Right.
You ain't got no reason to cry.
Right.
And then you grow up not fucking crying. You have no outlet to put the shit anywhere, and then you're fucking raging because you don't know where to put it.
Yep.
But it doesn't go anywhere because it's just swept under until it's a big ass fucking mountain underneath somebody's carpet.
Yes.
Until you
and that's how I meet every one of my clients. I'm talking about white, black, rich, poor. If they grew up in a Western culture, that's where they are.
Yeah.
That's what Western culture has done to the right brain. They hate it. They hate emotion.
Suppressed.
because it's intuitive.
They hate sex. They hate dancing. They hate singing. But they love people who do it, but they hate them too.
Yeah,
right? That's the same thing. You see?
Confusing.
Madness.
So this is what we're unraveling as a culture right now. And I don't blame men. And I don't blame women. I don't, when I see the influencers who are like, yeah, stay away from men, decenter men have, or like women, y'all got it wrong.
Yeah.
We're all suffering from the aces of living here for this 400-year stint.
And that's what I saw with my parents growing up, because my mom was one I would live with, and I would always see her be emotional, be sad, show these range of emotions. But then I would get around my dad, and I'm like, you ain't having no fun either doing this dumb shit. You doing all this running around.
You're fucking stressed the fuck out. These bitches got you stressed.
Right, yeah, because I'm oldest of 4 boys, and all of us have different mothers. So I would see how he would go about things with my mom, and then have to go home to his wife, and then when my third brother, when his mom came around, and she was not as timid as my mom or his wife, and I was like, oh, you're going through it with this one. You're not having a good time. And so like I can just see how when I was growing up that there had to be something different that I needed to do, because I'm going to be fucked on either side. My woman is going to be fucked, and then I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to be fucked. So it doesn't even make any sense to say that, oh, it's my dad's fault or it's my mom's fault. It's like everybody is fucked
Playing
in
their
this
part,
one place.
yeah.
Right.
Good.
Right.
I'm glad you noticed that. Very keen.
I had to notice a lot.
Yeah.
Easy
to blame one or the other.
Yeah, and my voice really got suppressed a lot when I was a kid. It's like I had to I was never really given the chance to express myself or express like how I felt. So I became a really good listener and a really good observer. And so through that, I was like, as soon as I can talk and do my own thing, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I would just watch them just like tear each other apart.
Well, these are indigo babies and crystal babies. What year were you all born?
I was born in 91.
Yeah,
I'm 88.
Yeah. See, I was born in 74, but I mean, I think each generation has come in more well equipped to, because this is over.
Right.
This mayhem and this chaos is over.
Yeah, it's dying, and if you're still holding on to it, you're gonna soon
You're
see
rotting.
You a relic.
Yeah.
You a relic. We gonna see you later, right?
We out here doing shit different,
You're
baby.
outmoded.
Yeah.
So that's what this entire piece that we do with our culture, with what we've built, with our marriage, and then our children, and everything that we're doing is based on having lived experience of this and moving through this for the past 20 years and step by step seeing what we needed, building on the tools and writing about it. Yeah. That's
so. How do we overcome this blow up? I'm just really curious about it, because we've had a moment. Me and Milah, we've had a moment where we got into like a sexual encounter, and she blew up in the middle of it, and I was sitting there like,
I said we never speak of this moment. I'm just kidding.
voila. Let's just bring it all out on the table.
But I just remember it not being.
I'm like a doctor. I've seen many answers.
I'm just
many
joking.
answers.
I did.
But and I didn't hold space for her, so it was just it's now interesting to hear that.
Well, you couldn't hold space for her because she didn't follow step 1 of my system, and that is all of my couples seek consent to vent. There is never a time that I'm going to walk into a room and let my animal out in that room before I ask. I can be pissed as hell. I was pissed as hell yesterday at something my husband did, and I asked him, can I vent? I am fucking pissed. Can I share this with you? And he has the right to say yes or no.
But if he says no when you're ready to burst like that?
Nobody has to listen to my ego and my animal venting. He said no, call Noble. He was telling me to call my other husband.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I called my other husband. And I was like,
that's my must have taken a lot, baby, because I'm like, fuck that. You're listening.
That's why we have coaching. You have to practice that over and over again. Consent is just important as the Me Too movement. We're raping people's ears with that shit. You are not allowed to. That is not a safe environment.
Not raping people.
It's so true, though.
We talking
Like,
about
I'm
Me
forcing
Too.
myself.
Me Too. Don't touch my titty. Don't touch. But meanwhile, you could just do whatever you want in somebody's ear. It's not right. And it's a feminine violation. And that's why it's not punishable by law.
Yeah.
Only the masculine emotions are punishable by law because that's all they really acknowledge is masculinity.
Right.
But feminine energy is just as powerful. I could say some words to him and change the pH of his blood right now.
Right.
And fuck him up on the inside.
Right.
That hurts like getting punched in the face.
Right.
But we don't go to jail for that.
Right.
Right. And so this is why sometimes I try to explain to Mila, like, yo, when you're being mean or you're being cold, that shit really hurts. But unfortunately, when I feel the grunt of that and then I react, only my wound is the one that shows.
Right. That's not fair, is it?
Yeah.
But see, then you would also learn the steps because step one would
Exactly.
be asking her for consent to vent.
Right.
Yes.
And then that is also something that I've been doing. And after, like, I then finally have my blow up, and then I finally feel at peace and calm because I finally got it out. Because when I was younger, I never got to speak.
Yeah,
and now
no.
I finally got
None
to
of
speak.
us
And every
did.
time I got to speak, you're going to goddamn listen to me. And then I react, and I hurt my hand. And then I'm sitting here like, yeah, I got to find a better way to go about this.
That was the purpose of the hands. Like,
Right,
it served
right,
its
right.
purpose.
And I
That's
was
the
like-
first time that you've said, yes, I have to find a better way to react.
Yeah, because
Thank
now,
you.
That's beautiful.
the times before, it was like, all right, well, I gotta do better. But now I have because I have a daily physical thing on my arm showing me like, okay, this is your reminder that this has to be the turning point.
Yes.
Yeah.
But really, it's going to be on both of you guys because you all are reflecting each other. So he's just showing you yourself and she's just showing you yourself. So there's no separation. Once you all got the steps in place, she would actually be able to give you whatever types of soothings you ask for. I give my clients 7 soothings so that anytime somebody vents, right, inside of a safe container, you have to set up the safe
permission,
container. Permission is the first step of a safe container. There's several steps of setting up a really solid container so that the other person won't be taking it personal. That's the purpose of the container. Okay, so once you set up your container and you do vent, I would show her how to soothe you down to a 0. And she would have only 7 soothings that you can ask for to do that. Yeah. Because it doesn't sound like, you all know the basic first one, which is empathy.
Well, you know what I realized even in this conversation and just in our interactions, just in general, as I get older and I have, interdynamic relationships with a lot of people, kids, friends, business partners, it's like I notice that when there's something happening that I don't really agree with or don't like, I'm immediately I'm withdrawing.
Yes.
Like in my head, I'm like, you're stupid.
Right.
I'm building up my walls. I don't want to touch you.
Yes.
Like literally I can feel myself go cold.
Yes.
Like,
right. They're there.
yeah, like it just is
Concepts of empathy. Concepts of
yeah,
sympathy.
like I can feel the like boom, 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 it starts to build and the distance start to happen, and I realize like when someone is saying something that I don't like or that I'm not prepared to hear or that I'm taking personally, then I'm withdrawing. Like energetically, I'm in a different country, bitch.
Yes.
I'm not even here,
and that's why we set up such a solid container.
Right, and I would say that we have our moments where we can set up the space for each other, where we can sit and listen to each other, where we have like our own little tools that we can go, hey, if we're holding hands and looking in each other's eyes, we can have a much better conversation. It's just those times where the shit starts rolling, and then we just need to like a full stop and then do this.
Now, wait a minute. I think you guys are getting the container wrong. The container is a cage for an animal. I can set up a container and make it really nice and sturdy and say, thank you for setting this up. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I can throw things. I can hit. Even in the soothing can be physical. I can ask for simulations. Can I punch your chest?
Yeah.
Can I fuck you up? Can you get on your knees and say you're sorry? Like, my containers are African. We not talking about nonviolent communication.
Okay. I'm familiar with that.
Okay.
Right.
Like, this is what I just want to hold your hands and tell you that
This
I
is
didn't
my
like
request.
that. No, we don't play that game. We set up a space for the animal to rage.
Because that exists in all of us.
It exists.
And the truth is, if we say like, okay, then you're gonna get in an argument and then you're gonna bring it down to zero, like that's not realistic. Because what I'm gonna just want to beat your fucking ass.
Right.
Because you've done punched my motherfucking cabinet,
Right.
nigga.
Right.
And I told you that I don't play about my shit.
Right.
And now I'm pissed.
And all she would have to say before saying that is, can I vent about this?
Right.
This is going to be at a level 10. She would prepare the right type of container.
Yeah, which I wouldn't even mind because I'm so used to being in a Jamaican household. I'm so used to like the volume and the aggression and the assertiveness, which is why when she like takes a step back and gets cold, I get more assertive.
Okay.
Like, oh, you gonna build this wall? Let me climb over this
Right,
goddamn wall because
right,
you're gonna hear what I gotta say today.
Oh, you're acting nuts.
Now I'm acting nuts because
Now
I'm
I'm
climbing over the
leaving.
wall and yelling on top of the wall and
No,
stuff
we
like
need
that.
to. You guys need to book your first session with me. But when couples realize how good it feels to actually be able to vent at a high level with their partner and have their partner witness that and soothe them and move to processing ownership and gratitude about the triggers, it is life altering and it is deep intimacy.
Right. And which is why I'm open to us having the hard conversations, difficult conversations, even open to us like arguing and getting like the emotion out because once we get that high emotion out and we've done all the yelling and then we're just looking at each other like, so this is how I really feel. you just keep putting pressure on me. It's stressful enough.
You keep asking me for help, and I don't think you need that much help.
I was like, but babe, after I've done the yelling and everything, and my hands all fucked up. But babe, all I'm saying is, and so, and that's when we can finally be like, this was all dumb,
right? And it wasn't dumb. It is
yeah.
based on your childhood. It is based on things like whatever I'm yelling at you at. Actually, I'm yelling at my daddy, them, my uncle, them, whoever molested me, blah blah blah.
Right.
Like that's what the relationship is for. It is a vessel to point that stuff out and bring it to the surface to be healed.
But most of us don't even recognize that is what the relationship is like. That is the mirror of the relationship to work through those things. Because now you have a safe space to. So instead, those emotions come up. We don't know where they trail to, where they're rooted in, and so we ignore that, and then we just like, fuck you, I'm done.
Right.
You know what? I don't like you.
Right.
And the beautiful part about all of this is, I love her, and I want to be with her forever, and we've been together like forever in multiple lifetimes.
Nice.
So it's like, even after it all, it's like, all right, I do want to figure out, and if I have no foundation or example, I do want to figure out like how we can get back to the normalcy in our relationship, and that was always the thing that we've always had, regardless of what has ever happened. We argue about, disagreed about, or whatever we've been happy about. We've always found a way back to the normalcy in our relationship, and then it's always gotten easier to get back to that.
Good.
And so.
Yeah.
It's just fine-tuning now. It's really fine-tuning.
I mean, I think it is a matter of putting things in place so that when blow-ups happen, because inevitably they will happen, that where are we going to go with this? How long is it going to last? Are we going to do this for 2 days? Like,
no. Oh, see, that's the thing. Now, when my couples do up-level venting, this does no longer a spin-out. Yeah. It does not take 2 days of wasted time or 2 weeks or 2 months. No way. Because my couples are top performers. They're high achievers, and we don't have time for that. I don't have time for that.
Right.
I got 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 men. I don't have time for that.
You have 10 men?
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, I don't even know how many men I have.
And
Who's keeping count anymore?
All in the same city? All in the same city
remember.
or different cities?
Different cities, but 2 in Houston. Of course, y'all know from TLC, my husband Carl and Tiger live with me in Houston.
Oh, they do? They both live with you?
Yes, they do, but Tiger right now is on hiatus because he had to be with his other wife to help finish raising the 17-year-old.
Okay. Do you find all of your husbands in a poly community where they already know what it is, or do you find yourself meeting people out and then you're explaining to them the dynamic?
I don't really explain to anybody the dynamic. Nobody really asks.
Like, I have a husband and
Oh, you mean when I meet other people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, they already know. I send them videos. I'm like, my men have to be trained.
Yeah.
Like, it's no man getting with me. I just meet them. It's a one-night stand. No, it's a process to be one of my partners. It's a process to even come to my bedroom, to my house. You know, you're going to have to go through a series of understanding so we can see where you are.
Right.
Because I really don't have time for somebody who, A, doesn't want to have either have not learned their way out of this system or is not willing to learn their way out.
Or doesn't even know something's wrong with the system to begin with.
Oh, I wouldn't even meet that type of person.
Yeah.
The people I meet are like, more along the lines of my level, so they know it's something. But I've had men say, well, I don't need no help. I don't need this. Ooh. Well, it was nice meeting you.
That was cool. This been nice. Okay.
I mean, I have access to infinite wealth, infinite men, infinite possibilities, infinite everything.
So everything else is just a bonus and extra right now.
Yes.
Like,
I'm not pressed.
Not pressed.
At all, okay?
Oh, this is fun. Yeah, I would be happy to work with you guys. I would love to show how I teach you all the system online sometime.
Yeah. Have you ever, I was thinking that, like the Christians and the Catholics, they do premarital counseling. Have you done premarital up-leveling counseling for couples who are going into marriage and not like maybe on the already married side, or like now there's something wrong and now they're seeking help?
No, unfortunately, the couples who come to me are about to divorce or separate.
Yeah.
I work with couples married like 10 to 15 or 20 years or more. Usually a lot come at year 30 as well.
I'm going to say, this is such a good, I would feel like this could be a game changer going in.
But see, the problem is people going into marriage have a false narrative. So they don't know that they would need something like that. I'm not going to beg a market of people to be like, oh, you guys need this. Like, okay, I don't know you need it. You don't know what you're about to get into. But us who've been married 20, 30, 40 years, we know that we have fucked up in all these places and should have got help at the beginning. But you couldn't tell us that. You wouldn't have been able to tell me that when I got married.
See, I'm the type of person to be like, oh, we need this beforehand, because since I've just seen how shit had just gone bad in relationships.
Yes.
And it's gone bad multiple times with people still going about like the same path.
Yes.
I was like, well, let me switch it. Let me do the preventive things in the beginning, and then we'll see. Like,
well, maybe we kick off with you guys and show people how it looks, and then maybe they might be interested.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be things that you need to. I
think it would be helpful
for premarital divorce-proof counseling, because I think I know that. Like, I recognize that there's going to be shit that comes up. I recognize that time comes there. Shit comes with routine and time and all those things. And I don't want to ever divorce. I don't want to ever.
But the real importance of divorce proofing is that when you're building an alliance with someone, you're going to connect financially. You're going to connect spiritually. You're going to connect in a lot of ways.
It's a business partnership.
Why do you? That's where the Black community talking about generational wealth. You can't build generational anything if you're constantly throwing people out and then start over.
Disposing of them,
You're disposing of humans. And you really didn't dispose of them because you're about to go meet that same person and that same set of conditionings in your next person, because that's where you are.
Right. Yeah. This same struggle, you think you're going to get rid of me and get somebody else? No. You're going to start from zero and have to face the same issues at some point.
And I feel like we were talking about this maybe a day or two ago when we were saying how people need to be 100% within themselves. Like, people are mixing things with themselves or bringing things from their last relationship.
Oh, you're never going to be 100%.
Well, I mean, just you need to work on yourself first. And
awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, actually.
Yes.
We're talking about self-awareness. Yeah.
But the perfection thing, perfection means I am constantly growing.
Right.
So you're not coming ooh, I'm put together. But I understand what you're saying. You're saying be aware that you're here for the purpose of growth. For us, the relationship, the purpose is growth.
Yeah, and I want to support, as your friend, as your lover, as your partner, I want to support you in all the ways that however that shows up.
Right.
Yeah, but the support is you gonna trigger them.
Right.
Now let's get this part straight before we go. I know we winding down. Let's get one last thing straight. Okay. The support that they're gonna offer you is that they specifically trigger your particular shit.
Because if I'm not going to grow unless I'm triggered.
You're not going to ever even know it's there until you get cancer or something. You won't know that thing is lodged in your thing.
So late.
Like, I'm reacting this. I'm reacting this way because this is something that I have is unresolved.
Yeah.
That stems from something that I haven't even looked at. And the only way that I'm going to even know that it exists is that I'm triggered by this and I have the opportunity and the tools to say the thing, move through it.
To see the thing.
To recognize it's in there, and then trace it back to its root, and then go from there. And I might have to be triggered in that same way several times.
Yes.
Because that is just the way life works. I think I read that somewhere. I read somewhere that...
Probably an up level. But that's the support that that he gives you. That's the support.
And I want that. And I want to...
It's a double support if he can also hold space when you're upset that he triggers you.
Yeah, I be doing my thing now. I be doing my thing. I be holding space now. And I also want to do this when we're in a good space. I don't want it to be like near death, where I'm just like, okay, now let's go to the doctor. No, I want to go when I'm healthy and I'm feeling good, and I can say like, yo, what can we do better? What can we find? That's why I mentioned fine tune before, because I want us to be in a great space and in a good space, happy space, and we're just aiming for a happier.
That's
all
beautiful.
The time.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you could tell your users about Divorce Proof Club, and
tell
then you
them.
could also show. Oh well, I run a club called Divorce Proof Club, and that's where I take couples who've been married 10 years or more. The least I'll take is 5 years, who know they want to be together
Until us.
forever. Yeah. Well, I will do you all as our first preventative.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Oh, I feel so. Thank you.
You feel touched by that. Oh. No, I would love to do preventative work.
Yeah.
But the thing with the couples that I work with for Divorce Proof Club is they are wondering, can they last after 10 years? The romance has faded. You know, after 15 years, 20 years, they're not poly yet, most of them. You know, they're like, ugh.
Do you feel like you have to be poly in order for the romance to last?
No. No, it just depends on the person. Some people can be sexually exclusive forever. Some people have different sex drives. Some people are asexual. Yeah. I don't think it's whether you're monogamous or polyamorous or whatever. It's that, do you have the tools to, if things change, talk about it?
Right.
Right. And things are going to, I truly believe things are going to change regardless, but like having, like you said, all the tools to
have the conversation.
But some people will fight him on that. They will say, mine is never going to change. I'm not changing. They don't know. They haven't lived that long.
The day change, the seasons change. Like internally, even if we're consciously not trying to, like we're changing. Yeah. I had this conversation when I was doing the one-on-one with the talking to men, and I was saying we were talking about how one of the men got married in his 20s, and that's the 20s is a time where you're constantly always changing. Like you find out the things that you like are like so different. So he was saying that his wife, they got divorced not long after, and she was like, "Oh, you changed." And I was like, "Well, yeah, you changed. Like what I liked 6 months ago is not the same in my 20s." And it's not until like you really get further down the line that you really like sit into what you like.
I really wish I could have got my hands on that couple, because what I do is change couples into communities. Like you must have community in order to survive marriage.
Yo, yes,
that's true. I'm big on community too. Even
whether you poly or not, you still need community.
I always said that. Like I think I heard you say this in a video. Like I want my man to treat all my friends like they're women. Like if I'm not home, like I'll call Orlando. He's home. Yeah, like go ask Orlando to pick you up. Yeah, like
or for him to be able to tell you, go talk to Sam about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Time for that. I'm just kidding.
This is fun.
Oh yeah, no, this
look at the cute little almost newlyweds.
Almost.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
Am I invited to the wedding?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's international. We're gonna go somewhere.
Oh, good.
It's gonna be like a little retreat wedding.
Oh, we would love to have you there. You are so
I
smart.
officiate weddings.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do, ceremonially.
That's why you have to do premarital counseling, and that would make sense.
I'm thinking of it now.
I want to let you know that you are very wise and very intelligent. I say, like, she's so smart.
Wow.
She's got it.
That's
thank
beautiful.
you for this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
One thing we do enjoy doing on this beautiful love cast is giving people the space to dedicate some love to anybody that they would like. So if you'd like to take this time to dedicate some love or dedicate anything to anybody that you like at this moment.
Absolutely. I will dedicate some love and graciousness. Where should I look? At the camera?
Right there. That's your camera.
I will dedicate some love and graciousness to my husband, Carl, who, without him, I would not be a free woman. I mean, he really did move step by step with me through a process that was challenging. It challenged his ego as a man, and he stood up in his higher self and his highest power and became a God right in front of my face. And so I had no reason not to become a goddess right there with him. So I dedicate love and sweetness and devotion and dedication and just to you.
Oh, thank you for that. That was
Amen
beautiful.
to the men that can really hold the women and grow out of the ego and
Child.
just to
They the sexiest men
That's
on
the
earth.
sexiest one. Shout out to the men that respect women. Really, as equals.
That's step one. That's just step
equals.
one.
Like if you respect your woman as an equal and not as an object or a servitude, like what is it called?
Sex slave.
A sex slave, just thank you for that. And I feel like it's few and far between, which is unfortunate. And I'm going to say it's not few and far between. It's abundant. You just have to make yourself seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big thing, and that's I appreciate you very much for the same thing, accepting me with my titties out, accepting me with all my things that I thought most men would not accept or love about me, and not only accepting me but embracing me, encouraging me, and supporting those things. So that is like a huge. I'm very, very grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. You want to take a little breath and Mila moan for that?
Yeah, let's take a deep breath and moan on the outside.
Wonderful. Would you like to share where people can find you or get these courses or things like that?
Absolutely. You can find everything I just talked about at progressiveloveacademy.com. Or if you want to check on my app, you go ahead and to the Apple Store or Google Play Store and download Me to More, the app. You can also find me on Instagram, Progressive Love Academy.
Yay.
Okay, me more app.
Yeah.
Let me go get my stuff together.
If you want to listen to the Lovecast, you can listen everywhere. This is Love Like This. Go to our YouTube and watch us because we are pretty entertaining. Great visual.
If you guys haven't seen yet, we're having a couples retreat in Costa Rica, June 14th through the 20th. It's going to be sexy. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of activities. We're going to be doing adventures. We're going to be in the warm, humid jungle, and you don't want to miss it. So check out the links in this episode description.
Yes.
And, of course, leave a comment if you love it and support Black Love.
Yeah. And go follow the Good Vibe Retreat on Instagram. Love y'all.
Love you. Bye.
La 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 like this.